What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. Before I get into the Monday night picks, before I get into Lions Ravens, which I'm excited about, this should be a good game. I do want to go over the weekend picks. I will say before I get into it, guys, we went down, I would say probably around like 7 units this weekend, which is unfortunate once again. Last weekend, we kind of, if you would have talked to me on Sunday, we did go down, and then Monday we hit an entry Monday night, and then Tuesday we hit an entry. So kind of that like extended weekend, we did actually barely squeak out being profitable, but honestly, it's more in the same of last weekend and this weekend. You know, it was a lot of good things. It was a lot of good chances, but a lot of things missing by one play, a lot of things missing by, opposite correlation, which is to be expected. And I'll get into everything, right? So for example, if you guys don't know what I do on this channel, I do a strategy called correlation, right? So I'm not the only person that does correlation, but I do think, correlation is like the main pillar of what we do here on this channel, and then on my VIP, of course, which you guys can actually get into completely pretty much free today. And actually you'll be kind of getting paid money to get into my VIP, and I'll talk about that a little bit later with ONYX odds. But you'll see here, here's a great example of correlation. So I take Spencer Rattler over, I took Sam Darnold under, and you guys will see that they are actually playing each other. So they played each other yesterday. New Orleans got demolished. New Orleans was losing by a ton, so that caused Spencer Rattler to throw the ball about 40 times, and Sam Darnold actually threw the ball he only had 14 completions, because if you're winning in a game, you're not going to pass as much. If you are losing in a game, you're going to pass the ball a lot more going to that third and fourth quarter. And then you'll see down here, Devontae Adams, Matt Stafford, I take both their overs, and both of them get like right around the same sort of line, right? About like 80 to 90% of their line. There was a big throw to Devontae Adams for about 45 yards early in that game, and they just didn't really do anything else with it, because this Eagles and Rams game was a little bit weird, right? Rams were kind of winning by a lot, and then they didn't pass the ball very much, and then Eagles right at the very end, I believe, get a kick return for a touchdown, or a blocked kick for a touchdown, which is actually why you see this score here, 26 to 33. But yeah, you guys will see very correlated together. It just ends up not hitting, and I do kind of want to go through these things pretty quick. But this was actually one that we hit this morning, really good. I will say League of Legends has been absolutely amazing. I love League of Legends. Betting on League of Legends, you'll see hits quite a lot. Here's another example of a play that barely misses. I'll say barely because it does miss by like 30 yards. But this Cal player, he gets taken out of the game with like maybe 5 or 6 minutes left in this game, and if he gets like 30 more yards or something like that, then he does go over and he would have hit. Counter-Strike correlation down here. And again, I don't know how much I want to go through, but Lagway with Miami, you'll see this, right? I take the under on a team that's going to win. I take the over on a team that's going to lose. Lagway just throws the ball 23 times. I don't know what's happening with Florida. That is such a confusing team. I'm probably not going to bet on Florida anymore. It's just such a confusing team to bet on and try to find a something what they're doing. I really don't know. You'll see here, very similar situation. This is a great example of correlation, just as I talked about in that Spencer Rattler play. But we have Dylan Raiola kind of playing that level of, they're not winning, they're losing the game, they throw a ton. He threw 30 completions in this game because they were trailing this entire game. Bryce Underwood goes under, and then we have Haynes King and Eric River also going under together, because the quarterback and receiver are going under together because they are very correlated. Here's some different discounts and such. Here's actually like all opposite correlation, which is kind of cool. I'm going to get into Friday's picks because they were really bad, and I'll take full responsibility for that. Here's another very close one here. Syracuse, one of my favorite teams, honestly, to watch the past 2 years. Steve Angeli, which is the quarterback, I think that's how you say his name, man. He got a Achilles tear in the third quarter of this game. Like, this play looked so good going into halftime, and he tears his Achilles. And Steve, obviously, he gets carted off the field. He's out for the season, which is so sad, man, because I love watching the Syracuse team, and we actually took them we took them plus 17. They actually end up winning versus Clemson, which is crazy. Clemson, another team, you have no idea like what is going on with that team at all. And then this Dan Villeri guy, I think is how you say his name. He didn't get another catch this entire game because his quarterback literally went down. So very close there. But I will say overall, not the worst thing ever. Like, it wasn't like the absolute worst weekend where just like nothing goes correct. But you will see very, very close things happening. Like, very close here, Bryce Young. Very close here with League of Legends correlation needing to happen. You'll see that very similar, thing that I'm talking about. Baker under, Tyrod over. Losing team's going to get a lot more passes. Winning team's going to get a lot less passes, right? This was on Thursday Night Football, very close for Josh Allen. This was very close for OU. This was a play that was on Taco Tuesday. Cool. Here's a play that I think we hit earlier in the week. And, this was another one, right? A.J. Brown. This was actually a play in a YouTube, Tuesday's YouTube video, man. A.J. Brown, 0 yards at halftime. And then, because the Eagles are trailing at halftime by about 20 points, A.J. Brown puts up 109 yards in that second half. And it's like, well, why did he do that? Because the Eagles, for the first time this whole season, had to start passing the ball, right? For the first, 2.5 games, really, that they played, they didn't have to pass the ball at all. They stuck to their strategy, which is running with Saquon, which is doing tush pushes. You guys know how the Eagles play. And A.J. Brown finally gets a little bit of a jolt here because they end up having to pass the ball and they actually come back and win this game. So credit to the Eagles, man. I'm not like a huge Eagles fan or anything. It's just, you got to give them credit where it's due, man. They know how to win football games. And A.J. Brown, zero yards at halftime and then puts up 109 in that second half. And I actually checked his line and it was like in the mid 30s for him to go. It was like 35 or something is what Underdog had him at for that second half. And he gets 109, right? I will say, I think I might have already showed that, but Counter-Strike early in the week was probably something that could have gone a lot better, and it unfortunately went a lot of opposite correlation, which is sad. Right here would have been a great play to hit. Right here would have been a great play to hit. Unfortunately, Counter-Strike, I would say more in that like Wednesday to Thursday range. It was just, I would take the overs and the unders would hit. I would take the unders and the overs would hit. It was just like exact opposite of what I was trying to do. And, it's a little bit frustrating, but here we are. Again, like I said, it's not all bad. We did hit some 4-mans here and there. It just was kind of a weird week of football. I don't know if anyone else can agree with that. It was just kind of a weird week of football where it just felt like nothing was, all these games were just very defensive. There was not offense at all. Like even that Vikings and Bengals game where Vikings put up like 50 points. Vikings had like 3 defensive touchdowns or something like that. It wasn't like the Vikings offense did amazing. So, ultimately, it's okay. We'll bounce back. We'll come back, and we have, this was a discount yesterday that we also hit on Mahomes. Really quick, because I know I'm getting like a lot too into this, but this was Friday's picks, and yeah, they were awful. College football, they were awful, right? I'll say like for, let me get my draw tool here, but I'll say for this Gill one, this Sawyer Robinson line, and this Owen McCow one, guys, all these plays I thought were like, I liked, right? Like we have a very close game, Baylor ASU. Sawyer Robinson needs like 50 yards. We have a very close game in UTSA and Colorado State. Like these situations were there. These guys just needed another 30 to 50 yards. Darren Gill, I already talked about that, but he had 41. I talked about his team. I talked about Syracuse, but he had 41 receiving yards at halftime. And then his quarterback goes down in the third quarter. And Syracuse pretty much just like shells up because their quarterback's down, right? So they're not going to keep passing the ball and try to get Clemson back in this game. So Darren Gill does go under. Malik Murphy, like really bad call for him, honestly. Like it's just a bad call. Last week, he does go over facing a team that was much better than them, but I guess I underestimated Oregon, which you shouldn't underestimate Oregon. They're really good. And then Devin Damplier, I talked about him. I think he had a 10-game streak that was broken of him not throwing an interception. He throws 2 interceptions in this game, which is not good. And then the NFL plays, Ladd McConkey does go under, and then Jake Browning does go under, which is kind of crazy because they lost by 40-plus points or whatever it is. But he actually gets taken out of this game in the fourth quarter. So if he did play the fourth quarter, he would have 100% went over this because there's no reason why they would have ran the ball at all. But these NFL plays, honestly, both of these I like. I think these were good calls. Jake Browning, just who would have thought that the Vikings would have blown him out by 40 points, right? I don't think anyone thought that Carson Wentz was going to put up close to 50 points, even though he really didn't. It was a lot of their defense doing that. So if you guys don't know, since May 1st, we're up 101 units. I did say, since the weekend, we did go down about, 7 or 8 units, something like that. And, again, that could just be one 4-man hitting for us, bringing that back into profitability. And again, I've talked about this all football season, but guys, when the win weekends, like when the lucky weekends happen, quote unquote, because like sometimes there's going to be unlucky, sometimes there's going to be lucky weekends. It all ebbs and flows, right? When the lucky weekends happen, you just saw how many things didn't pair up correctly together. Man, we can go up 30, 40, 50 units in one weekend, okay? We have done it multiple times last season. We did it multiple times through the playoffs even last season. Like this stuff goes up very quickly, okay? Like I'm telling you guys, you'll see sometimes on a weekend when things finally pair up correctly together and we like actually have a massive weekend, you'll see this graph just shoot up, okay? So this does happen very quickly, so you got to be ready for that. And hopefully you guys understand that the correlation strategy is pairing things up together so you don't have to have like 4 things happen separately together. Is more about having 2 things happen separately together, right? You have, for example, Nebraska throwing the ball more than Michigan, and then you have Georgia Tech not throwing the ball as much because they're winning the game like crazy. Those are the 2 things that need to happen for a 4-man to hit rather than picking 4 different things in 4 separate sports, right? So that's what we do here. Again, last year we went up 600 units. If you don't know, also real quick, guys, we went up close to 300 units last year in college football, close to 200 units in the NFL. All right, so let's get into the picks for the day. So first pick is going to be on ONYX odds, and then I have a pick on PrizePicks. So for ONYX, I am taking tonight's game, the Lions and Ravens. I'm taking the over total points at 53.5. Okay, so I think this is going to be a pretty high scoring game. I think the Ravens are ultimately probably going to win, but I think this is going to be close to a shootout. At least I hope it is, because like I said, I feel like a lot of these games were not very fun to watch in college football or NFL, and that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if it's fun or not to watch, but I'm just saying we have Lions, we have Ravens, 2 very high-powered offenses, and I'm taking the over points here. I think Ravens are probably going to get ahead early. Seems like they do that quite often. They get ahead early with big plays, and the Lions are going to be playing from behind a lot this game and a lot of passing. And we'll kind of, you'll see my PrizePicks play, but it's going to be similar to that where Lions are going to probably be passing a lot, all right? So we have the over on this on ONYX odds. If you guys do not have ONYX odds, you guys saw that you get 1 free month of the VIP. Not only that, you'll get $100 in free picks, okay? So I've had so many of you guys sign up for ONYX odds. It has been amazing. I've had a lot of people be like, hey, can I get my brother on this? Can I get my dad on this? He wants a free $100. Yes, of course, guys. Text me. I'll get as many people on ONYX odds as possible. That is my goal. Yeah, get into ONYX odds. All you have to do is spend $10. So the link in the pinned comment will actually link to this play here. So you guys can click on that, sign up for ONYX, put $10 in, take $10 on this play here for the over. We can be watching tonight's game, and hopefully there's a lot of scoring in that game. And you'll put $10 on that play or whatever play you want to do, and you'll get $100 in free picks, okay? And I get this question probably the most because people will do that and they'll be like, "Where's my free $100?" Because it doesn't actually show up in the top right. What happens is it shows up as 4 separate $25 entries, okay? So you get 4 $25 entries on your ONYX account, and you guys can see this little like toggle button. If you guys want to play, a $25 pick here, $25 pick here, you just pretty much toggle that on, and you'll go ahead and get that free pick there. And again, you get 4 of those for doing this. So a free $100. It is super simple to do so. That first link in the pinned comment should do that. Also, if you want to just go ahead and text me, this is how I get a lot of people signed up for a lot of things. Just text me ONYX to my number right here on the screen. I'll get you 1 free month of the VIP. I'll also say with Bovada, this is another way to get the VIP for 2 months free. The only reason I do 2 instead of 1 is because it is $25 to win. To sign up for this. So it's a little bit more money to do so, but you'll get 2 free months of the VIP for the hassle. I will say I'm taking Ravens money line tonight. If you put $25 into Bovada with my code, again, make sure to text me first. It's a big deal. Text me first. You need to text me first so you get the link. Text me Bovada to my number right here. Again, if your state is in the red, you should be able to sign up for Bovada, and then put your $25 on the Ravens money line or some sort of like Ravens alt spread or something like that, and I will actually Venmo or Cash App you back the $25 if it does not hit. Okay, so if Ravens lose, I'll pay you back. If Ravens hits, then you'll be great, and Bovada will then give you your money because you bet on it. Okay, so a lot of ways to join my VIP, guys. If you have any questions, just text me. My number's right here. Again, I do this all the time, so text me. I'll get back to you within like 5 minutes, all right? So this is going to be the play of the day for PrizePicks, all right? We have Sam Laporta over receiving yards, and then we have Strode to go over 9.5 kills in League of Legends, all right? So let's go into Sam Laporta and why I like him over receiving yards. So the most important part of this play is this is on actually Pick Finder, which is an app that I've been using a lot to kind of like sort through some plays. I don't use it all that much, but they have a lot of good information. So this is very important to understand, especially if you're new to sports betting, you have right now Sam Laporta's line on PrizePicks is 43.5. Now, if you go down here, this is FanDuel right here, and I personally think FanDuel has the best, I'm going to say the sharpest player props, okay? I think they are kind of the source of truth for player props, okay? FanDuel has him at 47.5. So if you try to bet this line on FanDuel, his line would be 5 yards higher, okay, which is a huge point in player props. Okay, 5 receiving yards is massive. So if you look at FanDuel, some of these plays, like this play, I know this play was like a year ago, but you would actually lose this on FanDuel and you would hit this on PrizePicks. So PrizePicks, that's the first point right there, is that FanDuel has him 5 yards higher. And trust me, FanDuel knows their stuff. Okay, FanDuel knows how to bet on player props. They know how to set player props, guys. That is why if you go look up how much money FanDuel is worth, it is in the billions. Okay, it's because they know how to set lines this well. Now, Sam Laporta also, if you look at the games, sorry, I meant to have it by any, but if you look at the games that he loses, you'll see that he normally goes way over this line, okay? Why is that? Because when he is losing football games, the Lions are passing a lot more, okay? And I should have pulled this up, but Jared Goff, let me actually just pull up Jared Goff right now and pull up his pass attempts and sort by him losing games. But you'll see when Jared Goff loses games, look at how much the Lions pass the ball when they lose, okay? This is all the times that the Lions have lost in the past 15 games. He threw the ball 55 times, close to 60 times, 40 times, and close to 40 times, okay? So these guys pass the ball like crazy when they are losing football games. So that's obviously going to add to Sam Laporta catching the ball more, getting more receiving yards. And then, if you guys don't know, Baltimore is favored in this game by, I would say they probably have like a 65% chance to win according to sportsbooks, all right? So first play, Sam Laporta over receiving yards. Again, because FanDuel has him higher and because the Lions, again, the sports books, they say that he's probably going to lose this game, right? They say they have a 65% chance of losing this game, which is going to cause the Lions to throw the ball more, which is going to cause Sam Laporta to get over his receiving yards, okay? So that's the first pick, Sam Laporta over. And then we have Strode to go over 9.5. Now, I'm not going to go over this too much. League of Legends is something that we bet on quite a lot in the VIP, especially correlation-wise. But if you don't know how League of Legends works, pretty much the winning team is going to get more kills. The losing team is going to get less kills, okay? So we have this MBS team, and they are minus 210 to not just win one game. So they're playing 2 maps, right? Not just win one map, but to go 2-0. So to win both games. So they are minus 210 to go 2-0. I said even like the Ravens minus 210. That's about a 65% chance of going and doing that, okay? So they pretty much have a 65% chance of going 2-0, which means that this guy should go over his kill total. And if you guys don't know, in wins, this guy actually averages 6 kills in wins. So in wins, he averages about 6 kills. 6 times 2 is 12, so I'm thinking that he probably gets more like 11 or 12 kills in this game, and he does end up going over his kill total at 9.5. I also think if we do check this tomorrow afternoon, I think this line is probably going to be about 10.5, okay? So I think this line right now is about 1 kill too low, and I would take it at 9.5, and I would take it at 10, all right, guys? So thank you guys for watching. If you guys stuck around for the recap, thank you. Again, a big pillar of this channel is being transparent. If we have a losing weekend, if we have a winning weekend, whatever it is, I want to celebrate the wins. I want to go over the losses and be very transparent. That is a huge pillar of this channel. So, Monday, we're coming off of a weekend. I'm going to do that a little bit more than I normally do. So thank you guys for that. And then again, sign up for ONYX odds and get into ONYX odds, guys. It is a free $100. Again, you're leaving money on the table if you don't have ONYX odds yet, and you're in one of these purple states right now. Sign up for that. You'll get 1 free month of the VIP for doing that. You guys can also sign up for Bovada and get more information on that. Just go ahead and text me. All right, guys. So these are the 2 plays. Go ahead and lock these in. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.